Alright, now we're back into Matt's build, and we got a bit of a different viewpoint here, a little more higher in so you can see into that. Guys, let me know down below if you like that particular one, if we need to go lower, whatever you want to see. And how did I get this? Well, I got a new piece of equipment, and I'm going to show it to you this way. So, there's my camera that you normally see me from. It's called a magic arm. And the magic arm, exactly that. Connects just anywhere you want. And that little knob controls that piece right there. That piece right there. And that piece right there. So I can maneuver this thing just about any way I want. So that's the reason why you guys are now seeing a little clearer picture when it comes to the weighing stuff. So now back to the build part. All right, we haven't talked about Wishon before and in very much detail, and today we're going to. So on Matt's build, what we're doing is a Wishon 575 MMC. All right, basically a milled cavity. It's a forged club and a little more compact in size. However, it gets forged into its initial shape, and then you can see the milling lines right there, and the back is milled out. Now we're going to build that down to the pitching wedge, and then into the A wedge it turns into its twin. It's bladed twin. All right, now you can get the blades in higher numbers. That's how we selected this one. And then finally we're going to end it up into the wedges with his micro grooves. All right, micro grooves. And we're going to go over each one of these and kind of give them their own due. So we have the Wishon 575, a player's cavity, a smaller top line, kind of a compact club. They made bunches of these clubs, and they do very, very well. The one thing that they have from a club making point of view is in here they have an extra hosel port for swing weighting, making the whatever it is you want to do. In the 575 blade, as you can tell, it's a blade, but it has a notch on the little area here. And I've had some really good luck with these clubs as far as guys hitting these well. Again, very thin top line, almost no offset. Then we get into the HM micro groove, and as you can see, there's like another tier of weight there to bring the weight up. The other part that I really like in here, hopefully you can see it, is there's a ton of grooves, but again, within the grooves that aren't painted, or the grooves that aren't deep, there's grooves within grooves. So it gives it a very rough surface, and that's what grabs the ball. The other part is it also has if you can see that, see how there's very little on the forward end for it to grab a hold of, but it tapers down this way and tapers down that way. And in here where we play mountain golf, where your lie angle could be like this, it could be like that, it could be like that, this is very, very adaptive from a wedge point of view. Very, very, very soft. Okay. Then we're going to add in some hybrids, the 775 hybrids. Now, the thing that's unique about the 775 hybrid is, if you look, here's the surface area thing lands, and then it swoops down this way, and so that it doesn't interact unless you do something very much like that, which you shouldn't, right? It also has a weight port right here for those of you that can do nothing but snap hook a club. Right there. The other unique thing to this that I really like is it is bendable. I can adjust the lie and some of the loft on this guy. Now you got to have the right machine to do it, but you can do that. And then finally we have a 7-wood. Yeah, he makes a 7-wood. This is a very nice 7-wood, the 929. It's a lower profile club. Very much goes with the hybrid so that there isn't much of a change as far as style goes. Now what are we going to put in them? Now let's get back to Matt. Matt is a big guy. All right, you see how my hand goes out of the camera? That's Matt. All right, he's a tall guy. He is very John Rahm-like. All right, short backswing, a lot of power going forward, and that's the reason why he does very good with the shorter clubs, because he stands over top of it and gives a lot of power. Now the unique thing was he wasn't carrying anything much past an 8-iron, I believe it was, and I'm convincing him to go to a 7. Now you're thinking, well, this guy must not be very good if that's all I can get him to. Well, to the contrary, he's a single-digit handicapper. He just knows how to make his clubs work for him. Now what we're doing is we're making the clubs work to his swing so that he gains a little more consistency. Matt is from very up north in Ohio, a few hours away. Came down, got a fitting, and found out he was playing clubs a little too short. Got used to it, liked it. Now we're into making him a set. Not only we're going to make those, but we're going to reshaft that guy and that guy. A couple tailor-made sliders. And he's a pretty powerful guy. So he swings pretty hard, short backswing, all the way nice through finish. So we really had to beef up some of the stiffness so that he didn't hook or even spray the ball per se, right? Because you're really loading on a short backswing. So what did we come up with? Well, we came up with the KBS Tour 105s in the very stiff range. And the 105s, as you saw, weigh a little bit more because there's more material. You cut it off 105. And the reason why we went with 105, because you say, well, Jim, it needs to be really heavy. That's true. However, we're going to make these things long. So we're going to use the weight of the club, the weight of the shaft, to kind of keep our swing weight balanced. Because we're also going to put on some fairly large grips. So even as the weight wants to take us this way, the large grips and the lighter weight in the shaft is going to bring us that way. Hopefully have a very well balanced club. Now, hybrids and woods. We've decided, because he's very, very strong, that we're going to go with the Accra I series yet again. The Accra I series. But this time it is the I series Tour model. And what's the Tour model? Tour model has an extra weave down here to keep it gives a little more oomph right down at the bottom. And for a guy who is short in the backswing and really releases very late at the end, this thing is the ticket right here. We tested it and it really did work. So that's going to go in the driver, it's going to go in the fairway woods, and then we're going to go into a normal hybrid in the hybrids, and we're going to build a few of those. So just like always, we're going to do the spine and flow, we're going to do the frequency matching, and then we're going to finish it off with some nice ferrules, and then we'll come back and talk about how it went together. Alright, day 2, step 2 of the Matt build. Now, Matt's from way up north in Ohio, and we're putting together some Wishon 575s and some hybrids and doing some reshafts and the whole 9 yards. Well, the first chunk of supplies I got in, we're just doing the irons and a hybrid, and then we're going to build the rest. So to make room on my drying rack, we did the first chunk, which is the irons and a hybrid, and then we will put together the rest here in just a little bit. So we're going to finish some ferrules, we're going to cut things to length, we're going to put some grips on them, and then we're going to go into the other build. So let's go along. In the middle of these builds, I like to talk about some of the golf clubs, and in this case is no exception. So what we're going to talk about is the hybrid. All right, the irons speak for themselves. They're a nice forged club. They're CNC milled on the back a little bit. They've got a great player's look to them. Twin in the blade, so be it. What we have here now is the 775 hybrid. Okay. The 775 hybrid. It's got a bit of a bigger shape here. It's a little bit bigger, and if you can tell, it's got a nice sole here, and then it undercuts right here. Okay, see that part? There you go. It undercuts right there, so you don't get caught into the turf, especially if you're a picker type. Okay, this has got to be one of the most versatile type hybrids from a club making point of view, right? Now, like everything else, not everybody's going to like it, but from a get it into your category or get it into your specs, this guy is really good from a guy that does stuff like me. Meaning that you just saw where I bored out the hosel. Now, let's finish off match set. So we got two more hybrids, and they take a 370 tip shaft, and this is a 335. And it is actually made to be reamed out if needed, and that's what I do on basically every one of these. So again, with my new Grizzly and my new bit, we're going to put this guy in the holder, and we're going to make this to accept a 370 hybrid shaft. So let's make it playable. That just gave me two different types of shafts I can use in this head to help the golfer get the club up in the air. Now, in the beginning, when hybrids were very popular, you really didn't have that, all right? You only had, you know, the hybrids are designed such that they needed a little help getting in the air, and people were using fairway wood shafts, driver shafts, whatever they could get a hold of in 335, or make the club go up in the air. Then the shaft companies caught up, and now there's 370s, which in reality is a good thing because it makes this area stronger, it makes the shaft stronger. So when you get into those hosel shots or you dig, it doesn't want to break, which was kind of a con on the very, very first models. The other part to this is that in Wishon, he also has a weight pocket down in here, and he's got a weight pocket right there. So if you're that guy that hooks it off the planet no matter what, maybe coming in too steep, whatever, you can put a little weight in here and hold the club open, right? Hold the club open in order for that not to happen. If you needed more weight to maintain a swing weight or to get extra weight, there's a nice little piece in there, and this company makes the weights that go in there. So again, it's a twofer. Also, this is bendable. All right, if you have the right jig, you can bend the lie angle on this guy, and although they don't tell you, you can get maybe a degree or two out of it as well. So if you had to adjust this thing, let's say you got it in and it says, oh, this is a 6 and it's supposed to be 31, and it's 28. Well, you can bend it to 31. And let's say you wanted 62 instead of 60 and a half. Well, you can get that here. This thing bends good both ways. So if you have the capabilities in your shop, or you have somebody that makes these for you and you can do that, this becomes a very, very nice hybrid. The other thing is he's got a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6 that I know of. So you can get pretty deep into your hybrids with this guy. And it's not a bad club, man. It gets out there with them, you know. I won't say it's the longest one in the bunch, but it'll certainly get out there with them. So if you're looking for something that, you know, you ever get to where you look and your hybrids are sticking straight up in the air when you go to swing them, and that could be one of the reasons why you hook them. Maybe you need it flatter. There you go. You know, maybe you like a little wider shape in the club. There you go. Maybe you like the high speed or high strength steel that's in here versus what everybody else has. This is a fairly substantial head. There you go. If you like some exotic type shafts that you want to have in your club, well, it comes as a head, so there you go. So we're going to put in the Accra I series, just like I told you before. Accra makes a very, very fine shaft. Right, this is going with the family of shafts because we're putting in the tour version in the fairway wood and the driver, and then this is going to go so they all kind of marry up. So this is my last one to build, so we're going to speed this up and we're going to finish it. Okay, the last two things we're going to do is we've got to pull an adapter, and these are from sliders. Now, what the deal is here is that there's a bit of a ferrule just right here, and that's it. So we'll have to put a small one back on when we're all done. So we got to take that ferrule off. We'll heat this up ever so slightly. We'll put it in here and pull it, and this is the part I wanted to show you. So quick heat. It's kind of funny, we don't want to get it too hot because it's made of aluminum, and what it'll do is it'll bubble the paint, and we want it to look good when we're putting it back in. Alright, see, we got that part pulled out. Now alright, so we got 10 seconds in 4 different spots, about 40 seconds worth. Let's see if this is going to work for us. And there it comes. Now this thing's going to be hot. I don't have my gloves on, so we're going to just let that happen. Alright, this is done. We're going to go get the driver. Now if we take a look at the driver's a little different. If you where the lettering is on this one, that's the plastic ferrule, so you have to have a specific plastic ferrule for that. Now yes, I could try and pull it out with that to try and save that, but again, you know my opinion on ferrules. So, and this stuff is actually fairly delicate anyway, and you see how it already looks used. There's already pieces up there. I want it to look like that, not like that. So that's already there. This thing's got to go. And you see how that's got a rim? This thing, how you got to pull that back some. There we go. So this ferrule actually is only attaching right to there, and maybe a little bit of a shelf right there. And we got to get this guy off. Oop. Gotta lower that guy down a little bit, it looks like. There we go. And again, that thing's going to be hot. And off we go. So we'll let them cool down, and we'll put them on some shafts, and let's get them ready for mat.